Hey everyone, it's Kayla here, and today I'm sharing a layout and process video for day 25 of my A Scraplift a Day series here on YouTube. Today's lift is in the top right hand corner, and I've also added the link in the description below as well. Now for today's lift, it is a grid design, which I do love a grid design, but I must admit I found this one a little bit tricky. I don't know whether it was because we had lots of pattern paper in the background, and then having to put things on top of that, including other patterns, kind of threw me off a little bit. But in the end I do really like what I've made, and I've got the last of my kind of autumn themed photos from last year, well the year before, documented, and I've used the same kit as well. I've used our Scrap Squad kit for autumn, which was from our Void Gifts and Crafts. I'm not sure if they've got any of this left in stock, but I will link the shop below anyway in case you do want to have a look and check it out and see if you can get hold of a few bits and pieces that we had with this kit. So what I'm doing so far is I've pulled out some paper scraps and I'm cutting them down to size. I have also added a border to my white cardstock. On the original layout, which you can't see on the little image there was a pattern paper border around the page. They have used a pattern paper background as well, which I've gone for white cardstock because I just find that a little bit easier to work with. Especially when there's lots and lots of patterns going on. So so I'm just cutting those papers down to size, pulling in colours from my border to use on this layout, and I think those colours work really well with my photos. These photographs are of Darcy and Spud, and it was we'd gone on a canal walk, and they were both peering over the wall to look at some of the farm animals. We're very lucky to live so close to the canal and all the farms and things. I think it's absolutely amazing for the kids to see all those animals, and Spud too. Spud loves them. He loves looking at them and watching them, and obviously he's always off on lead, so he'd never be able to run over and say hello, because I know he'd never want to hurt them, but he definitely would want to say hello if he got given the chance. So they were both looking over the wall, and they're just really cute photos. Darcy's pointing at something that she's seen in the distance, and Spud's like, his ear, they're all stuck up like, "Ooh, what are you doing?" They're really, really cute photos, and definitely something I wanted documented. So I'm just distressing the edges of all my papers. I love the texture that this adds to my layouts, and also it adds kind of that definition of each pattern then, so they don't all just blend into one. It adds that separation between the papers. So now I skip forward, my papers are stuck down in place, and I'm going to start layering in some things. Now there was some frames with this kit, but they weren't working for me. I do try a few things, but I'm like, no, I really don't like these frames. So I use one of the frames. I get the measurements of the frame to make my own frames out of some pattern paper. So it's a really good way of making your own kind of embellishments to add to a page. I've never recreated a frame before, but I am so glad that I did it on this page, because I think it just pulled in then the colour that I needed for my frames. But at the moment I'm still trying to work with these ones to see if I can make it a layout that I'd like, but no, I'm like, nope, it's not working for me at all. I'm going to make some of my own frames. So I picked this blue stripe pattern paper. The stripes aren't like uniform as in straight. They are quite wonky stripes, and I really like how that looks. And I'm going to cut this down to the size of the frames, and then the first one is kind of a tester to see if I could do it, and I think the measurements are off just slightly, but it worked out okay in the end. And then I created another one as well, and then I am also going to back these frames with another pattern paper later on, because I did need to kind of cover up all the patterns that were going on behind the frames. So I'm just using my trimmer to cut out a frame. And I'm really pleased with how it looked, and I'm definitely going to be doing this again in the future, create my own frames. And if you add some foam on the back as well, it kind of gives the illusion they're kind of like chipboard frames, and I think that works really, really well. So yeah, so just cutting out that frame, and I'll cut off in a minute, so you don't have to watch me cut the second one, but I did want to leave this in case anybody else wanted to give it a go. But yeah, I'm really happy with that, and yeah, I definitely will be doing that again. So now I've got my frames. I'm going to start bringing in some embellishments. I've used a lot already of the kind of autumn themed embellishments, but I've got a couple left. So I'm going to try and get on this layout as much as I can to get some of it used up. I've brought in those little potted plants. The only reason I've really brought them in onto this page is because of the colour. There isn't any potted plants in my photos or anything, but I thought the colours worked really well. And I had 2 of them, so I could put 1 in each of the frames. I've cut a blue leaf in half and added half to each of the photographs. Bringing in some phrases now. I've got these ones off the foam thickers. I've also got one of the epoxy banners which says wonderful. Those potted plants are also epoxy stickers as well. I had quite a few of those left, even though I did feel I used quite a lot of them during our 12 days of autumn last year, but I did still have quite a few of the epoxy ones left, and I do manage to use quite a few on here. Just having a look through the stickers, as you can see, I've used absolutely tons of the stickers, but I do have quite a few left that I can definitely make more layouts with. I had a little banner on top of the photograph of Spud, and I'm going to staple those on just to add, again, some more detail to that photograph. And there was some clear space there. Because of the heart of Spud, I didn't manage to get any of the animals in the background. It was just the field. But I just still thought it was such a cute photo. So now I've brought in another one of the foam thickers, and it's a big banner that reads, "This is our happy place." On the original layout, there was part of the title on the top and part of it along the bottom. I decided to go with this banner piece as my title, so I could only put that in one area on the page, and I decided to add it to the bottom. And I definitely think "This is our happy place" works so well with these photos, because we do love going to the canal. We love exploring it and looking at all the animals and the ducks, and it is such a lovely walk. It's definitely one of Spud's favourite places. So I have now skipped forward. I have backed my frames with some of that kind of craft looking pattern paper, because I wanted to bring in some more craft because of the banner piece at the bottom. I've added some little tags at the top of Darcy's photo, and I'm just going to add some twine to those to finish them off. Again, sticking with those same colours, I brought a bit of craft up there and some of kind of the tealy blue up there as well, which those colours are all in this border paper that I've used, so I thought that worked really well. And then I'm just going to finish off with some gold splatters using Jen Hadfield Gold Mist, which is from my stash, and I just love how that just finishes off those clusters. So here's my finished layout. If you do join in with us, please do tag us on social media. I'd love to see what you've created. Thank you for watching. Bye.